Because at the end of the day, that's the danger of building a team, a culture on your team that makes people feel like family. We talked about this too. I definitely believe that there needs to be a very cohesive team that feels comfortable enough to come to you, that you can laugh with and have fun with. But we have to draw a line. That family feel sounds good, but in actual execution of being a boss and running a business, it becomes dangerous, because then you have the other person's situation where he says his team came to him like they rallied up because they're like family. So they're having these sidebar conversations. It's like, yo, we see how much money he's making. We want more money. And so then the approach to him is, I'm not doing any more work, fam, unless you pay me. Fam. Like, I get, you understand fully that I'm your boss, right?
Yeah,
you would never go.
I didn't hear that part.
Well, that's what happened. Like, suddenly the job just stopped being done cold turkey. And he's reaching out like, hey, what's going on? Well, at this point, I just feel like I deserve more money and I'm not going to do any more work until we discuss this. And you have to look at what you're being paid based on the actual role that you're providing. And sometimes you can max yourself out, which is why as a CEO, you also don't start people at the top of the pay scale, because you don't have any room to accelerate their pay when it starts to feel stale, when it starts to feel like the same thing over and over again. You kind of want to leave yourself some room to negotiate, but you got to get really, really clear on the type. Do you want people coming to you as your boss saying, yo, fam, what's up? Or feeling comfortable enough to tell you what they're not going to do until you do X, Y, and Z. I don't want that kind of culture in my company. I want people to know that I love them and respect them and care about them. And if they're struggling through a hard time, they can communicate with me and I can offer some support. But I also want a team that respects me and says, hey, Donni is just as important of a CEO is as my last job CEO was. And I have the same level of respect for her that I had for my last supervisor. What I don't want them to have for me is fear. I don't necessarily need my team to fear me. So you walk into corporate America and you fear, so I would rather my team having a desire to not disappoint me by dropping the ball, right? I don't want them to be afraid necessarily of losing their job. I want to create a culture where it's like, I respect what she's doing so much that I really just don't want to disappoint her. So I'm going to do what I have to do.
Yeah.
And I think we all work well that way. But, and so in that same conversation, our other friend said, well, do we invite team over to our house? How close can we be?